Hey Sagittarius, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are looking at a bit of everything, to be honest. Pardon. We will firstly sort of grab a bit of general energy. We will also look at, job, career, and finances. This week I am pulling a card for health, like your physical reality, and then moving over into love. Okay, so we'll have a look at what wants to come out for everyone today. I will just let you know, if you want to leave a comment on one of my videos, you will go in the draw for a free personal reading. We're drawing that when we hit 100 subscribers, guys. So super close to being able to draw that. So make sure you leave a comment if you want to go in the draw. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, of course. But we are using 3 different decks today. I've got the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. Lovely deck there by Lucy Cavendish. The main deck I'm using is the Red Hand Lenormand. Another awesome deck. That one's through pixeloccult.com. Waiting for their new release one. I'm waiting for that to come through. But we also have the Romantic Fairy Love Oracle today as well. All right, so getting into it for you, Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, what's going on in the world of Sagittarius? What's going on for our Sagittarians, please? Okay, the Snake Princess, Sagittarius. So as you can see there, we've got that, it's a very similar representation, image-wise, to some of the snake card within the Lenormand with, the snake energy there, that temptation of, do I eat the apple? But this one does say the serpentine path to power. So once again, it does symbolize that Lenormand card as well, with the idea of your ambition and your passions coming to light here. But this particular oracle, it does sort of talk about that serpentine path to power. So it does sort of let us know that doing what needs to be done, sometimes I don't sort of condone being deceptive, but sometimes we have to go around things, slither around rather than facing things head on. Sometimes we do have to find an alternate route to, get around an obstacle rather than facing it head on. So this card really does let us know that, you can afford to, be a little bit snaky at this time and slither your way around obstacles rather than facing them directly. All right, so sometimes it talks about things like, avoiding conflict, wiggling your way out of stuff. Okay, so, I don't really want to say that there's any sort of malign energy with that oracle. I'm not advising anyone to be deceptive or or anything like that. But, sometimes the way that we have to get things is, sometimes the path is a little bit harder. All right, then, yeah, I'll leave it at that. You'll interpret that how you will, I suppose, Sagittarius. But we'll see what wants to clarify that energy for you. Okay, Snake Princess for our Sagittarians, please. Yeah, so it like I was talking about, with conflict and not wanting to face conflict head on, we do have the whip coming through first and foremost, and we also have the ring. Okay, so it's kind of a very interesting energy because it's talking about avoiding. Well, it's not really avoiding it though. It's kind of sometimes sometimes it kind of, the message I'm getting here is that sometimes tension is what makes the relationship evolve. Sometimes you never really know somebody until you see how they deal with conflict, or conflict and then resolution sometimes brings more answers than avoiding the conflict altogether. So I really don't want to be encouraging anyone to, go and jump into conflicts or dramas or anything like that. But it's kind of telling us that, there may be some drama or conflict or tension, some trouble, some quarreling, fighting that is actually going to result in a stronger relationship, either with somebody else or even just within yourself. So, if this is within yourself, yeah, well, then I can definitely sort of say, face the trouble within yourself, to strengthen that bond with yourself. Face your conflict. You might be fighting yourself over something, and um, it's kind of letting you know that that's the path to power with this situation. And with the ring there too, it could be talking about more than just a relationship. It could be talking about, a cycle that we found ourselves in. All right. So, if you've been in a cycle where you have avoided conflicts, that, maybe conflict is actually necessary so that you can learn how to deal with conflict and tension or drama. Very interesting. Like I said, I really don't want to be sitting here and advising people to go and jump into conflicts or anything like that. But it's not so much go and jump into conflicts. It's kind of don't avoid it. It's kind of like, if that's what's necessary, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes, and you can get through the conflict. You can get through the fight, and come out on top. That's your path to power at this time, Sagittarius. So, some of you may have been fighting with someone that you have a strong relationship with. This is not necessarily love relationships. It could be any sort of, someone that you just have a strong relationship with. You may have already been experiencing some fighting with somebody, and it may actually be telling us to, with that serpentine path to power, taking it and facing it, and following the temptations. I can't avoid it. I'm trying to word it non-confrontationally, but it's still coming through that, this conflict may be necessary at this time, Sagittarius. So, don't be afraid of following your path to power. And if your path to power, because sometimes I suppose too, when we're coming from a place of our own self-worth and our own sense of self-empowerment, sometimes that other people just find that conflict like confronting, and don't know how to deal with that, and it can cause tension for, with other people, because you're staying firm in your boundaries and your own power. And don't be afraid of your own power, I suppose. That, if you do need to stand in your own power and stand up for yourself with something, that's what's needed at this time. That, even if it does bring about a little bit of conflict or tension, or a bit of a fight with somebody, you do need to stand in your own power. So I feel as though there's not much else I can kind of say about that energy. All right, so we'll have a look at job, career, and finances for you, Sagittarius. I'll draw one for present and one for near future energy. Okay, Sagittarius. Job, career, and finances for our Sagittarians, please. Okay, currently a lot of happiness in the job or the finances. All right, so we do see the Sun card coming through. That does talk about happiness, but it does talk about things coming to light as well. I do feel as though that's what we're looking at here. You may have thought there was a lot of happiness, with your job, career, or financial situation, but something's coming to light. in the current energy, that, something's being revealed to you that is making you sort of second guess things, I think, there, Sagittarius. Especially when, looking at the near future, we do have the scythe. All right, so the scythe really lets us know, don't be afraid to break away from things that aren't serving us, make a sudden change. So we are seeing some sudden changes coming through in the near future with your job, your career, or your financial situation. All right, so whatever's being revealed to you in the current, or the the very sort of close, may not have been revealed as of yet, but whatever's coming to light, focus on that happiness and make the changes necessary to stay happy in that job, in that career, or with your financial situation. Make the changes that are necessary. These changes may be very unexpected, coming from an external source. I just want to double check. Can we get clarity on these changes in the near future for Sagittarius with job, career, finances? Can I get clarity for that scythe card, please? We have the rose coming through as clarity. So yeah, every every rose has thorns. Okay, so this change coming through, it may seem like you may feel as though you're getting pricked by thorns, but it's actually all for the best in the long run. All right, so it may be quite unexpected and sudden, this change that comes through for you. But in the long run, it's for the best, and it's going to actually help things bloom for you, with your I want to say finances will bloom, but it may be directly your job. Okay, so I don't want to come out and say that this change is, like loss of a job or anything like that. I'm not seeing any loss cards. I'm just seeing that it's an unexpected change. Okay, so there may, it's things like, if you're working for a company and all of a sudden the company changes ownership, and they bring in all these new changes, changes in procedures and policies, that they may seem really hard to deal with at first, but it actually opens up new opportunities for you down the track. Those sorts of things. Financially speaking, it could be things like something being revealed to you about a change that's happening with your finances, but it actually works out a lot better down the track. So, so whatever this change is, even if it's unexpected, really sudden, out of nowhere, and it may seem like, at first it may seem a little bit daunting, or like you've been pricked by thorns, but just remember that the rose is at the top of the stem. All right, so it may take you a little bit of while to travel up that stem, but things really will bloom for you in the long run. All right, I'm just thinking about, as a personal example there, Sagittarius, I recently learnt that a certain payment that I receive has been lowered. All right, for the near future, it has been lowered, and that was an unexpected change. I wasn't expecting that to be lowered, but what it actually means is that this time next year, that payment, it will actually result in a lot of money owed to me in a year. So even though it may take a year to get to that extra income for me, um, the loss of $10 a week is not a big deal right now, because I know that, when that comes back to me, it's going to be much bigger. All right. So I know that that may not be relevant, but that's the sort of energy I'm picking up on, and that came to my mind. So I wanted to share that with you, as a sort of example of what this definitely could sort of be. So it may be something like that for some of you. It may be like a little bit of a pay cut now, but that's actually going to pay off like times two in the future for you. All right. Pardon. Like I said, I feel like for some of you, it's like a some sort of policy or procedure within the workplace that's changing, and it may be tough right now, but it actually opens up further opportunities down the track. So this policy or procedure, or this new own, like whatever it is, I feel as though it could actually open up more opportunities for you in the future. So you may the example of, all of a sudden everyone at the workplace needs this certain extra education. So you have to go and get this extra education. It's a pain right now to go and get this extra education, but down the track, a year from now, you find out that that extra education that actually entitles you to a raise, and so you can then go and ask for a raise or something like that. All right, so I'm getting all those sorts of things coming through with that. So it may seem a little bit daunting or just unexpected more than anything at the start, but just keep in mind that it will pay off long term for you. All right. Okay. So anything Sagittarius needs to know about their physical or health, please. Anything Sagittarius needs to know about physical or health, please. Can I just get clarity for that, please? Oh, no, actually. I don't need clarity. It just, right as I started asking for clarity, I heard in my head. Okay, so we do have the tree coming through. So for definitely for a lot of you, this is talking about self-growth, self-care, taking care of yourself. All right. So, the best thing you can do for your health at this time is take care of yourself. All right. But what we actually, what I was getting there as well is that for some of you, this is actually a health related issue, but it's to do with like veins or ventricles. All right. So if you have any concerns about anything to do with veins or blood flow or ventricles, in your body, go and get those things checked out because that's come through as well. But it's really talking about self-care. So, taking care of your physical body at this time to help maybe, I feel as though it's to avoid future issues. All right. So, a lot of the time when I see that, or I intuitively get anything to do with veins or blood flow, sometimes that can lead back to heart health, and making sure we're lowering our cholesterol. So, taking care of yourself at this time. So if you do have any pre-existing conditions, just keep that in mind that, that there may be something relating back to blood flow, veins, cholesterol, even, anything like that. All right. The branches within your nervous system as well. So that definitely could talk about your nervous system as well. So just keep that in mind. All right. I'm not a medical professional or anything like that, but these are just sort of areas of your health that you might want to just keep an eye on. If you do have existing concerns about one of those things, definitely go and get that seen and checked out, because if it's come up, then you do need to sort of look further into that concern. But I'm feeling for some of you, this is a pre-existing condition, and it's just a matter of taking care of yourself. And you already know the thing. Like, I'm feeling that you already know the thing to do to take care of yourself in that manner to avoid problems with that particular thing. All right. So I myself, I actually have vein issues myself, guys. So I have, special things I am aware of that I can do if I am having any issues with that. And I want to say, I'll recommend it to you guys. If you are having vein issues, look into Chinese herbal medicine. I've had vein issues ever since I was about 14, 15. And I actually have like lymph nodes that don't work properly in my body. And so they don't regulate the blood flow properly. But sorry to go too much information there, guys, but there is a cream that I found, and it's a Chinese herbal medication, and it has, made all the differences in the world for me. So a bit of a side note there, guys, like totally irrelevant. I do feel that, if I'm saying it, there's at least one person out there that might need to hear that. So if that's you and you have had vein issues and you want to know more about that, send me an email. All right, guys, all my links are in the description box of the video. So send me an email if you do want to know a little bit more about that, and I'll send you a screenshot or something. All right, but that, I feel like that might just be for one particular person. All right, but if you do have any health concerns or pre-existing conditions that may relate to any of those things, definitely go get them looked at this time. But self-care being the main thing coming through with that. All right, looking after your physical body. All right. Okay, Sagittarius. What's going on with love for Sagittarius, please? Romantic love for Sagittarius. Looking back at the past, Sagittarius, we have the Tower coming through first and foremost. So there is an element here where you're looking back at the past, at someone in the past. I do have a person coming through next. Which is the Fox energy. All right, so it's someone who's really clever. They may have said a lot of things, but with the Fox energy, they're a little bit sneaky, a little bit tricky. They only say what they think you want to hear. All right, so this is the energy of looking back at that in the past of how you may have felt, that someone was only looking out for their own selves within a connection. They weren't, giving fully to the connection. They were very vested in their own interests. They may have said all the words, but there was no actions following it up. And they were being, that probably, sometimes it can talk about a physical description as well with the Fox energy. With the physical description, it's someone who's very clever, very smart, very intelligent. They are someone who, a lot of the time they are, have like ginger colored hair. So they either, light ginger colored hair, that red colored, like the darker red, um, or like brown with a tint of red to their hair. All right, so as a physical thing, with it definitely could be an older gentleman as well, like an older man. If you're someone that's interested in men, if that's the case for you, it would be someone with grey hair, and the silver fox kind of thing. So yeah, but you're sort of looking at the past here, and I feel as though you're using that to sort of learn exactly what you want in the future with emotional connection. All right, and you using that as a signpost, as a guidepost of how you want to build foundations differently in the future, to avoid that kind of fox energy where then their behaviors aren't matching up with their words, and you're really using that as an example for yourself of what to kind of avoid, I think. So I'm not getting any, I'm not getting any dwelling on the past. I'm just sort of getting you looking to the past for answers of how things have been for you in the past connections. Because you are really focusing on this lily energy, which the lily energy is all about, you're wanting long term, and you're wanting something that's emotionally intimate long term. You're wanting that emotional intimacy. You're not wanting, the fox is a bit of a player energy. It's that wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of energy, much more physical energy, whereas you're wanting something much more emotional connecting, for your future is what I'm getting from that. So that's actually a pretty positive way to be looking at things, Sagittarius, using the past. And if you're not currently doing that, it's guiding you to do that, to look at your past connections with these people who have been a bit of player type energy. They have been, their words may sound all lovely, but their actions don't actually follow that up. And using that to set new foundations for yourself with love, all right, and the way that you approach love in the future. All right, using that, sort of setting that example for yourself of what you don't want, so you have a clearer understanding of what you do want. All right. We'll grab a couple of the romantic fairy cards as well. Okay, Sagittarius. What's going on for Sagittarius with romantic love, please? Okay, so I'm just trying to... I feel as though I've actually picked up on two separate people here coming in for you, Sagittarius. But firstly, we do have open your heart. All right, so that's all about you, Sagittarius. Open yourself up to love. It does say love is the highest energy of all. Let it in. All right, so open yourself up to love. Focus on what you want long term, and how you want to see that emotional intimacy play out for yourself in the future, and then open your heart to receive that. All right, because I do have two different energies here. Firstly, we do have the best friend energy. All right, so that does say friendship is vital to your romance. Feelings deepen and blossom. So for a lot of you, this is someone who you already are friends with. Others of you, this may be somebody that you are just sort of meeting, that, it's a very friendship sort of vibe. You get along sort of instantly with this person, and it's, a friendship being very vital to growing something more from that connection. And then this is a totally separate energy, but it does say unexpected connection. Opposites attract. Okay, so that's not that same friend energy. This is somebody else coming through. That it's but this one does feel like quite more physical opportunity than emotional. That best friend energy does feel a lot more emotionally connected to you, Sagittarius, than this one. This one may be someone, you may have a short-term fling being available to you in the near future, and it's a sort of unexpected connection. Like, wow, I didn't even think that I would be attracted to that person, but I actually really am. So that's the sort of vibe. But we've got definitely more than one option around you at the moment, Sagittarius. So whether you do or do not already know who they may be, there is definitely two connections in your energy. So, see how it goes, I suppose, and really up to you what you do want for your long term, because I feel as though you, Sagittarius, if you're focusing on your longevity, your long term options, and the emotional intimacy, I do feel as though you will kind of not go for this shorter term physical attraction. You have, that I feel like that might be a test for some of you to sort of know as to, have you learnt the lesson from the past? Have you actually learnt the lesson from the past? Because those energies do feel a little bit similar there. So it's someone that you may sort of be very unexpectedly connected to this person, and very attracted to this person, but is it something that's going to be a long-term connection for you, if that's what you want? Of course, if you're only after a short-term thing, well, there they are, coming in hot. Okay, well, that's what we have for you today, Sagittarius. Leave a comment and let me know if you do know who these people are already. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to check your other placements as always. And hopefully I will see you all again soon.